Hello and welcome. I am Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio, where creativity shines into your world. With over 20 years of public school teaching experience, I bring step by step art instruction and ready to use art lessons to spark creativity in students and offer art teachers a much needed reprieve. Let's create something wonderful together. All right, we are going to continue from episode 41 with part two here, where we will add to our drawing of clovers that we watercolored with the different greens, and we will use different art materials to add additional details as well as cut and paste. Let's get into it. All right, so first off, we are going to start with the crayon. I have a regular black crayon here, and I can trace around and clean up the edges to my picture. I could also draw with the black crayon inside of the clovers and add some fun designs. I'm going to move this aside because it's in the way. This is in the way. And move these over here so I can turn my page and get to what I'm doing. Now, my artwork is dry. I think I mentioned that prior to me editing the video here to paint the blue behind the clovers. So you want to take a moment to let it dry before you go in and add with these tools. So I am just tracing. My cat is now in here, and when they're hungry, they like to chew on tape that is a part of some packing boxes in the room. So they just like to interrupt. A.M. Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio does not have a studio that's just mine. There's all kinds of other distractions and noises, and that is what you get when you watch with me. You get reality. A.M. Snyder's reality. Hopefully it has a little entertainment for you about what I face on a daily basis with children, cats, and well, even husbands. They can be quite noisy too. So I'm just coloring lightly here because I want to create a shadow, and I'm going to outline these as well and clean them up. So I can thicken the line to help clean it up, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be thick if it doesn't have to be. And I am thinking that I want to add a little bit of shading on the side here by coloring lightly with my black crayon. And then I was thinking of adding a swirly line, but then I'm like, nah, let's just add some curves. A curve there, and a curve there, and a curve there, and a curve there. And then we'll add some curves in there. And I think that satisfies what I'd like to do there. I might come back to the black crayon. I like the black crayon. I have the blue crayon. I'm going to use the blue crayon over here. Now I have prang crayons. This is a pen and gear. Inexpensive. They're all pretty inexpensive. I like the prang crayons. That brand of crayon is very smooth. I don't know, I think the box is something about soy based crayons, so maybe that's why it's so smooth. And I'm going to add some shading to it with the blue. And I like that. I like that a lot. I'm thinking I want to just make it a thicker blue line. I like how the blue defines the edge with the green. There we go. Get that a little more cleaner. Okay. Alright, so then we have the Sharpie. I have a wide Sharpie, and I'm going to use it to go around these. Okay, it's still a little wet there, so I'm going to be careful not to put a hole in my artwork. I go over these. Now, I'm just going ahead and choosing something and tracing, and I can add to it. So you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. If you have a Sharpie and that's all you have, then just trace everything with Sharpie. If you have a crayon or crayons, just use the crayons. It's all fine. It's all good. Okay, and then I am going to use, I have an ebony pencil, which is a little thicker pencil, a darker pencil. I use it to darken up this one's lines. If you have a regular pencil, you could, if you press hard enough, get a thick, dark line. It would work. Again, I'm going to add a little bit of shading because it feels like this should be behind that. And then I think I want to add just a little curl for the fun of it. And I'll bring it up to the camera here. So I have a little swirly curly, just a little bit swirly curly. Okay. And then I have a thin Sharpie. Let's use it. Turn this around because then my hand can work better. Okay, I'm outlining. But I think what I want to do is add a bunch of like itchy, scratchy, sketchy kind of lines just to make it look interesting, different. And then do that on the outside. I'm just copying the curve. And then, you know what? I'm going to draw a little one in here because I think it would look cute. Now, I'm not Irish, so I don't have a connection with my ancestors to St. Patrick's Day or anything, or living in Ireland and the history there. However, I do enjoy the notion of some of the fun things about Ireland. I did go there once, and I'm not a person who drinks alcohol in essence, but because of the culture there, I did drink a beer as an adult there, and you know what? I haven't drank one since, so there you go. And that was probably, that was over 13 years ago. So A.M. Snyder is not a young person anymore, but nor am I an old person. So it was a fun trip. It was interesting. Very green, very wet. Very green and very wet. Alright, so now we have that fun clover. And now I'm going to use a thin brush with black. I have a thin brush with black. I'm going to outline this one with black watercolor. So you can see that takes a little more effort and time compared to having a drawing tool. So a very thin paintbrush will work best for this, and it will take a steady hand, some time, not getting frustrated when it doesn't go where you want it to go, and adjusting the line because it isn't going as smoothly as you would like. So just keep those things in mind. It might not be the best option for many people to use. This is actually called a liner brush because it's used to paint lines. A.M. Snyder used to do a lot of pen and ink, and I use a liner brush for very thin lines in my illustrations. I do like the thickness and the darkness of this line. Again, depending on the amount of water in your paint, you can get a darker line. Now, this entire video I was using watercolor for the green and the blue, and then I went ahead and I used all these other media or materials to enhance the artwork. If you follow along and simply draw the image, you don't have to use watercolor. You could use colored pencils, you could use marker, so I hope that you kept that in mind as well. And as I said, you don't have to have all these materials. If you have one and you just want to use it to outline, or if you erase the lines at the beginning and clean it up at the beginning, then you might not even want to do this step. So there we go. There are different ways to produce one's artwork and yet still have a similar theme. Now originally, just a little bonus here, a little story, I had videotaped me doing this one. I did this one and I filmed it, and I was talking about how I didn't know what the difference was between a shamrock and a clover. And then after the video, I decided to look it up. Yes, I should have looked it up ahead of time. So in this video, I did mention, I believe, that shamrocks are a type of clover. And so that's just an interesting little tidbit about what had occurred prior to this video. So with that, we are coming to the end. And I hope that, yet again, you have found something along the way here that has shined some creative success into your world, as I'm about to turn this one totally black if I'm not careful, and that you will find that this St. Patrick's Day, some additional blessings in your life. Yes. A.M. Snyder doesn't really care for the word luck. I just don't. So I like the idea of blessings. I think that is a wonderful thing. So I hope, again, that if you're following along with me and having some enjoyment or learning something new, that you were blessed along my video presentation here, and that you have taken away something new that you can apply to your art going forward. And I have to finish this off now that I did it, right? If you were blessed as you follow along with me, by all means leave a comment about what you learned or what you enjoyed about my video here. Even if you have ideas about other content you'd like me to provide that's art-based and fun for kids or for beginning artists or art teachers. Yes. All right, we did it. Oh, we got that little guy down there, don't we? Well, little guy down there, let's use the Sharpie. And again, this is A.M. Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio, here to shine some amazing creativity into your world to add that extra dose of blessings. Again, you want to check out my Teachers Pay Teachers website. I do have, at this point in time, 2 St. Patrick type of art lessons that can be done within an hour. So if you need a sub-plan, or if you just need to fill an hour of time because you're transitioning from one activity to another, or if you want that lesson because you are at home and you want to do something that has more additional information in it, by all means check out my Teachers Pay Teachers website. And again, check out my blog for some information about symbolism of the color green and how green is connected to Ireland and St. Patrick's Day. So in addition to everything I've done on my clovers, I also have included this little bonus snippet to explain how you can glue or paste things as well. So I drew on a construction piece of paper, or green paper, separate paper, a little clover. I cut it out, and I'm going to flip this over just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my ink pen, and I will zoom in so you can see, of course, because that's not easy to see far away. Okay, I'm going to take my ink pen, and I'm going to draw on top the construction paper. And the ink pen really digs into that soft paper with a satisfying feel It really does. So this blue ink pen on top of the green paper creates a nice fun line. And then I'm going to do it again. Made a little heart. I'll do the same over here. And outline the stem here. Alright, so then when I flip it over, you can see that, right? Yeah. So when I flip over the artwork, I can glue it to one of my clovers. Maybe that one. This one. That one. I glue it to this one. So I have my glue. It's breathing. It's getting there. There we go. Squeezed. Okay. And we're going to plop this one right there. And pick up some of the glue so it's not sticking on the edges here. There we go. Done. Now on this, I have some craft tissue paper. And I had originally thought about putting it here. Now I'm wondering if I want to put it on the bigger one. I think I will. Of course, you could cut it. I'm just going to tear it, crumble it, and put some glue in the center here for the fun of it. Can I do it? Come on, glue. Gravity, help me. Alright. Thinking I put some there too, so take this, ball it up, pick up some of that glue, stick that in there, and stick this one in here. And there's something fun about that. It's just something enjoyable and fun. Alright, well, I am Snyder. Thankful that you join me as we look at how we can make our artwork a little more interesting instead of just painting it or drawing it, and using mixed media. Mixed media is fun, and A.M. Snyder tends to use it a lot. I like the idea of how we can change things as we go along with different media. So when we look at the two, you can see the differences that have been produced by doing two different works of art. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and hopefully you can see that I used an ink pen on here, and it was a blue ink pen, but you can always use a black ink pen. Also, I put a little bit of shading with some dark green, probably this green here. It was really watered down, and it added a little bit of shading or shadowing. I did not do that with this one. Just point that out. Alright, so I have enjoyed sharing with you the variety of green and the techniques and lines that we can use to produce our artwork, as well as the variety of different ways you can handle your clovers too. I am Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio. Very blessed and thankful that you join me for this series of Clover artworks. How to draw clovers for St. Patrick's Day. May you have a very blessed month of March. Until next time, bye-bye.